But of course, what was interesting about the rebuilding of Paris was that it meant expelling the working class and the working people from the center of the city. You build all the new boulevards for the bourgeoisie, you expel the people. The people are expelled to the periphery. Capitalist growth from the 1990s onwards was increasingly dependent upon a very rapid process of urbanization. That is, more and more capital was flowing into urban forms of development. And this is very different from what existed in the 19th century, when capital would move from, say, Britain to the United States to build a new economy. This was capital moving around the world, moving into cities and rebuilding cities on a global basis. In other words, planetary urbanization became one of capital's central strategies of development. And we're now locked into that as a major strategy, and it's very difficult to see how capital can get out of it. Capital is not only engaged in city building in China, it's also rebuilding and remaking the cities of the Western world. All of the major cities that I visited have property booms in place. All of those property booms are about building a certain kind of city, the kind of city that capital wants. Capital has no interest in building cities for people. It only has an interest in building cities for profit. So what are the profitable activities that the capitalists can engage in? Capitalists love mega projects. They hate to be bothered with neighborhood activities. So they like the mega projects of building new stadiums, building new parts of the city. They love projects which have a high rate of return, which means building the kind of city that the rich people want to live in. So capital actually builds high-value housing for a limited market. In fact, a lot of what capital builds is not actually lived in.
As David Harvey mentions, the capital always needs feeding. This need of growth found its food from urbanity since 70s. In today's postmodernist world, urbanity serves as a legitimate basis for capitalism. The relationship between the capital and the city creates an open post-legitimate ground for architecture, which can be easily warped in the master plan by the government and the main power holders. This warped legitimation situation can be followed over eclectic differentiations derived from the plan alterations in central areas. But what the tool will be?
Şu anda böyle bir durum yok ortada. Ben ne Mecidiyeköy'deki yapı örüntüsünün ne de levazım bloklarının İstanbul'un içindeki herhangi bir nitelikli yapı grubunu temsil ettiğini düşünen birisi değilim.
İki tavır var. Bir tanesi mesela Haliç'teki tekven blokları. Baktığın zaman oradaki dokuyu, ondan sonra müthiş böyle önemseyen, ölçeğiyle, oranıyla, işte dokusal ilişkileriyle vesairesiyle birdenbire bir mimari yapmaya çalışan bir tavır var. Öte tarafta da işte hani bütün o etrafındaki dokuyu referans alınacak bir doku değil diye kabul ediyor. Levazımı vesaireyi
Tamam.
kabul etme durumu var.
So, one of the possible tools can be the bigness in architecture. Rem Koolhaas first described the bigness in SML-XL as the buildings which are urbanized by themselves and leaving the concern of creating connections and the continuity with the rest of the city, which is going very well with the postmodernist capitalist approach. So what happens is that the capital creates a post-legitimate base for big architecture, which expands greatly, creates a business after it, and leave no urbanity behind. Eskişehir Road is one of the examples. As the part of the road shown, the physical homeless is teared apart. Spaces for public use are divided often by the private buildings. This situation makes the public connection nearly impossible. Also, the typology is diverse a lot too. The parcel-based master plan made the unplanned functional access with the seemingly gas alterations. What we see and learn from the Eskişehir Road in terms of post-legitimism should be that the city going with the capitalist approach has no future in terms of a well-connected urban pattern and a city with continuous network of programmatic access. So, at the end, the city will be sentenced to the fragmentation where the ruling is easier. And there is no doubt that we won't be talking about architecture or urbanity in a city like that, rather than the profit in the future.